Good afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients. My name is Priscilla. Heather is my co-host, and today we welcome Jay from Majesstic Oracle. So glad to have you here today, Jay. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me, ladies. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. Me too. You know, I was just thinking, we didn't talk about this before, but what if we each pulled a card for the show today? Just for the heck of it, while we wait for people to pop into the chat.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Will Painter. How are you doing? Let me grab a deck real
Wonder
quick.
Woman.
Well, it's actually showing up on my screen for a change.
Yay. How's Miss Diana today? We're going to each pull a card for the show, just for the halibut.
Yeah. It's a portal day, too.
Oh, yeah. It is 9/9 portal day. Hey, White Dragon. And we do have a little presentation on the 9/9 portal as well. Cool. And a little meditation that we're going to add at the end of it. But we're going to find out about Miss J from Majesstic Oracle. Hey, Gina.
Let's find out who she is and what she does.
Exactly. How's Miss Gina M?
Hi, White Dragon.
Well, I pulled the Queen of Summer. This is the fairy deck.
In front of
you. There you are. Anyway, it says, listen to your heart, intuitive insights you can trust, and taking care of others, and sometimes too much. But you're, loving, comforting, emotional, and intuitive. I imagine that fits most everybody who joins us.
I would imagine so. I like that. What did you get, Jay?
I got Get Grounded. Empaths, highly sensitive and connected with nature. So I think that helps definitely with today as well.
Absolutely. If you're not grounded out there, stick that tail down into the earth. That's what I do.
What deck did you use?
What deck were you using, Jay?
This one is the what is it of light? I always forget the book. Work Your Light Oracle card. Yeah,
say that again.
It's the Work Your Light Oracle cards.
Oh,
it's by Rebecca Campbell.
Yeah, I
love her cards.
That's why I was thinking that looked familiar. So
I love her cards. Well, I'm using Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors. It's truly my favorite deck. And I love this because I pulled the Magic Guardian. I love this guardian angel. She's our magic guardian angel. And she says, take some time to reflect on your strengths and challenges and how far you've come. Recognize your gifts, because we're all magic. So I love that. So, Jay, you're pretty new out there in YouTube channels.
I want to know all about you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Jay.
Okay. Well, I was born a medium and a psychic, and from the time that I was, maybe 3, I could, see spirits and angels and, just other beings in other realms, and I thought everybody could. So, what was cool was that my parents were. My mom is the daughter of a pastor and the sister of a pastor. And on her side of the family, we're Lutheran. And my dad went to church as well, but it wasn't so much, like my mom. So I grew up in 2 different types of churches. We had the, my mom's side, which was the Swedish, German, and Irish side. And then my dad's side, which was the, the Black church that kind of, could go on for hours at times. And so it was a really fun balance of learning, from the beginning how different cultures, kind of worship or choose to, focus on spirit or what they believe in. But I still didn't quite fit in because I was still seeing things like in Sunday school and in church that other kids weren't, and even the teachers weren't. So um, we would go, not every Sunday. We would go to Sunday school every Sunday, but we wouldn't go to the main part because the kids, were doing the school part. And after a while, they couldn't really handle me. So they kind of, asked my parents not to bring me back. I don't want to say I got kicked out as though I, acted up, but they did not know what to do with me because,
Was that
I'm
because you were
asking
seeing
normal
things?
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so as we're, doing the Christmas pageant and stuff like that, we're dressing up as the different people in the Bible, and there's angels and stuff. And we're going through all of the writings in the literature. I'm raising my hand and asking, what that angel's doing and where they're going to be in the play, and normal stuff like that I thought was normal. And so they didn't really know what to say.
I can imagine.
And so so it was fine because my parents never tried to suppress it and say that the stuff that I was getting or seeing wasn't real. And I just kind of suppressed it as I got older. Once I kind of realized that I'm unique in that way, but it wasn't something that was always talked about. So fast forward a little bit, I get pregnant, and my daughter tells me ahead of time that she's coming, and I was having visions and dreams, and I didn't know who the father was going to be at the time. But once I did, start dating my husband, I told him, I said, first was that awkward, how do you tell someone you're dating what you can do? And then having them witness it and not go running for the hills was, a tough thing to contend with at
Yeah.
times. And, because it wasn't something, back in the late 90s that most people would assume that I would look like when they think of, someone who's got gifts or who has abilities. I wasn't really the norm in that way, but he was intrigued and interested, and he was like, yeah, let's have a family. So we did, and she has abilities. She's now 18, and she learns and picks stuff up, quicker than me. But it's just really great to be able to instill that in her in this day and age when people are so much into their technology and all of those things. But I like it because just with normal decisions, when it's like, can we check the pendulum, can we check the cards, I don't really know about this or that, or just normal life, school, boys,
Sure.
work, whatever
What
it
a
is.
fun way to grow up.
So
I envy your daughter having you for your mother.
Yeah, that makes things a lot
thank
easier.
you.
Wow. I think that
Well, I mean, and then there's that. Thank you. There's that astrology part too of like, what's his sign? And then it's like, mom, because I'm like, well, don't you want to skip over if you guys, so she knows she's not supposed to date a Pisces, and so it's like she kind of will, skip over that, and it's interesting because I'm liking that it's not something that she's pushing away or she's embarrassed about. And so she's graduated now, and things are kind of moving and happening, and I'm trying to do more things with my channel. But how that kind of, do you want me to talk about my channel now, or still kind of keep going on
wherever you want to
my
go.
abilities and stuff?
So you're a
Okay.
psychic medium.
Well,
You read oracle cards. You read pendulums.
yeah.
I mean, I know of your abilities because I'm in a psychic practice with you. So I'm well aware of your psychic abilities, and they are off the charts out there. And I highly recommend a reading from her, by the way. And check out her channel, please, because she's very gifted and very heart-centered. And that's my experience of Jay so far. So when did you start your channel?
I started it actually just this past year. And it was around the March time. I have very specific numbers that I like to work with in numerology, and that's why I thought today was really great that we came on during the portal day. But I started it back in March, and I originally wanted it to be just, and I still kind of do, but I feel it's still in its infancy as far as where I want to go with it and the things I want to pursue. But I started with just these simple videos where you didn't see my face, you just saw my hands, and I, did the card readings and did little things like that. And then I would put music to it and little cartoons, like kind of some illustrations to make it fun and interesting. And the music part of it was kind of a wink to my dad because he was a DJ when I was growing up, and for kind of on the weekends. So we always
I bet
had
he
music in common with everything. And yeah, and so before he had passed, I didn't really play with cards too much. But once after he passed, and we have a really close relationship now, than we ever have. As I was flipping cards and stuff, he just randomly started, kind of telling me in my ear, I'm noticing that you're flipping cards to the beat of the music. And I didn't realize what I was doing, but I started doing it was like it was like a channeling. I would do it to a rhythm type of
Mhm.
thing. And then it just became, well, I'm gonna put music to it. I wanted something that was like a little bit different. And
That's
I'm
really
still,
interesting.
yeah, I just something just told me just try this out. And I'm still so new to the technology and everything. It took me a minute to kind of figure it out, but I did. Um, but when it comes to like the type of shows that we're doing now, I want to do more of those. I'm on everyone else's channel, but I'm still learning how to stream, and do it from my side. So
Mhm.
uh, Kate, Kate from Dream Detective Kate approached me
And she's here. Hi,
after we had
Dream
been working.
Detective Kate.
Hi,
And I saw
Kate.
also that Sun Psychic Jean stopped in to say hi and give us a thumbs up. So please give us a
Oh,
thumbs up out there. We appreciate that. And subscribe
Hypnicity was saying that she takes pictures to the sound
to
of
the
the
beat of a
music.
song. Oh, that's cool. Let me highlight that.
You know.
Wait a minute.
right.
I've never heard of doing that, but that makes sense. I can
Yeah.
see how you would, if you
Mhm.
were listening to music, how you would end up with a rhythm like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very
I just
there's a lot of
kind of,
times I
yeah,
end
I
up with
got into, yeah. And so that's kind of how it started. And then when it came to just our conversation between, the community, Kate approached me and asked if I wanted to do a healing show because I was kind of telling my story on Allie's channel. And she just kind of said something popped and came through the screen, and it was like a lightning bolt. And she was like, I really think you should do a healing show. And I was like, I really think that you should join me. So we decided to collaborate, and we started talking even more, and our stories are very similar. Some of the chapters are similar to self-healing and having abilities and gifts, and not really realizing that some of the pain and the trauma and just all of the stuff that we go through wasn't really ours. It was what we picked up as it, because I'm also an empath. So a lot of the pain that I had when I was younger, part of it was picking that up from everyone else and not knowing how to channel it or get it out of me or move it through my
Right.
body. So I was constantly in
We
pain,
were
and
holding
I
into
got
other
that.
people's energies. Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, and I was also one of three mediums that worked for a volunteer group called A Ghost here in Seattle. And we would go around and clear houses, of spirits. So I was also picking up that energy. And I was, always pretty good about it, but I just didn't put the two together because I was told, by my doctors, you
No.
have fibromyalgia and you have rheumatoid arthritis. And, by the time you're 43, which I am now, they said I'd be in a wheelchair, and I'm not.
Nope.
So there was just a lot of like similarities and a lot of pride that I at least wanted to kind of be that voice that said, don't just take your doctor. I mean, of course, listen to your doctor, but use your discernment, use your intuition, use your gut feeling on how you feel things should be. Because once the doctor said certain things, I believed it, and that's how my life was. I was in a lot of
That's
pain
what
for a
we
long
were taught
time.
to do. We were taught to basically gods. They were gods. Our doctors are gods, and
Yeah.
if they say something, it's the truth. And that's not the case at all.
No, they said they're practicing that.
They
Go ahead.
actually have very little education in nutrition.
Right.
Very little, if any, education in nutrition. So that's a huge gap. That
Yeah,
leads
that's a
to
big
more of our
gap.
issues than anything. That's a huge gap. Not
Yeah.
only that, we
Yep.
weren't trained to listen to our intuition. So we'd never heard that empaths picked up other people's energy. We didn't know any better. Now
Yep.
we know these things and we can share those with other people so they don't have to take on that disease just because the doctor says so.
Yeah, and remember that
Yeah.
they are practicing medicine. Key word is practicing.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. Yeah.
So I've heard Jay's story, and I believe it was on Dream Detective Kate's channel, correct? About your fibromyalgia. Do you know the name of that show? Anyway, it's on Dream Detective Kate's channel, where the two of them talk about your self-healing. It's an amazing story. We probably don't have time for it today, but please go check out Dream Detective Kate's channel and see it, because it's a phenomenal story. And the fact that she's not in a wheelchair is truly amazing.
Yeah. So the show itself is called You've Got This. And so that's how you can narrow it down, because she's got other shows with other people as well. But that was also a wink to my dad as well, because I have it on my wall. But whenever I would panic about something, or I was in pain, he would just kind of sit me down, and when your parents kind of look at you and give that look, and he would just be like, "You got this, baby girl. You got this. You know you do. You can handle this." Yeah. So it's always that reminder that deep down you do have the ability to change everything about your life, for the better. And so that's why we named it that. So.
Yeah, that was an incredible story. And like she said, it's called You've Got This, and it's on Kate's channel, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, they were talking about doctors in the chat, and they were saying the thing that they really didn't like was what was it? There were two things that they didn't like. And I thought of a third one, which is they always want to put you on drugs.
They always want to give you pills.
Yeah, and I have fought that. I have fought that.
There's a phenomenal amount of people that are killed through prescription drugs that their doctors have given them, just normal patient physician contact. They have had their meds, and it's killed them. Because do you think the pharmaceutical companies really care about us? All they care about is the money, correct?
Exactly. And the thing is,
bottom line, if it's a corporation owned, it's bottom line. And that's not how medicine used to be before Reagan. And and hopefully it'll get back to that again.
But they were saying, like, doctors give you statins if you have higher cholesterol. You don't say a thing about changing your diet. And that's all I did. And I never took any statins. I'm allergic to them. But they still wanted to give them to me. I said, no.
Yeah.
In Eastern medicine, Diana says you don't pay the doctor till you're well. I think I like that. He believes that if he doesn't cure you, he didn't do his job. I love that.
Yep, I love that. Yeah.
And hypnicity
so,
says,
I went through.
Go ahead.
I was saying I went through that exact same thing where, this was before really the whole opioid epidemic, was really a big thing. But, I was 16 and 17 years old when I first got in my car accident, and I also got mono, which, messed up my immune system. So it was trauma with not dealing with that. And then the doctor, not knowing, because at first they told me I was crazy. They couldn't find anything, through the x-rays and all of the normal pains that, or, the things that you would see on an x-ray or an MRI or a CAT scan. Nothing showed up, but I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed. My arm would lock up, my back. I had to wear a back brace. And so they just said, it's in my head. It's in my head. And so then they tried to put me on depression.
Fibromyalgia people, they always tell them they're crazy.
Yeah. And so it wasn't until I was like 21 when they diagnosed me. And I was happy only because I knew I wasn't crazy, but that there now was something a name to put with it.
Right.
But then the disappointment of it being a chronic thing means it's not going away. Like there wasn't, that was the hardest part, I think, was that the doctor was like, no, you have to live with this for the rest of your life. It was never really about, what can we do? It was me pursuing what I can do. Otherwise, it was just, here's your script for the month. Here's your script for the month. And
Right.
I couldn't, I couldn't function. I was a new mom. That was really difficult. I was tired all the time. My pregnancy, I stayed on bed rest for 7.5 months. So, I had just really gone through a lot, and I was really sick of it. So I weaned myself off of all of that and started listening to spirit and working more with guides and angels, and just looking into acupuncture, just different medicine ways that weren't really out there, weren't really talked about. And
Right.
in that way, I started seeing and feeling the energy move during the appointments that I would have with the acupuncture. And that was really the highlight or the turning point when I was like, something's changing, something's shifting, something that a pill just isn't doing. I can feel it. And that was that first kind of inkling that I knew how energy worked. And I just needed to familiar, myself with the whole idea of it. And so that's what I did. I started pursuing everything I could on it and reading about it, and kind of trying to prove my doctor wrong in that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Susie says a friend of mine was a drug counselor. He told me it was almost impossible to find a recovery center that didn't rely on drugs. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's true. Sad but true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, I was fortunate that that I didn't have to go to like a rehab or anything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that the doctor took me off. I weaned myself off, because that was also suppressing my abilities. I was foggy, and I knew that, things were changing and I was developing, and more gifts were coming in, but I was constantly foggy. And then once I started tapering down, it just started coming like crazy. And that made it all worth it, because now, even if it was put in front of me, I don't want it. I'm not in pain, so I don't need it. I don't want it.
And did the
Spirit
guides
is much more.
did your guides
Hmm?
give you certain things to do to heal yourself? Did you tell you what to eat? Tell you how, I mean, did they give you anything like that to help you
Well,
find your way?
it was more. It was more like they told me what not to eat, because that was the problem. Was I was constantly eating, and I sometimes still do, sugar, or lots of carbs and things where the sugar would just turn and just attack all of my joints. And so at
Wow.
this point, when I'm kind of working with the guides and I'm trying to figure out, what I'm supposed to do, because my hands would swell up to where, my knuckles, you couldn't tell what knuckle from another. And there was just all these symptoms that, and then of course it ran in our family as well. But it was difficult in that way for the guides to work with me. They were just telling me not to eat stuff.
Well, that's
And
fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's amazing how much,
yeah,
I don't know if you guys caught this, how much sugar affects us, how horrible it
yeah,
is for us. And all carbs turn into sugar in your bloodstream. So it doesn't matter whether it's white bread or a potato, or it doesn't matter.
yep,
Even a sweet potato, those carbs turn into sugar, as does alcohol. As
yep,
soon as it hits your bloodstream, it turns into sugar. And I know, because I'm a type 1 diabetic, so sugar is the bane of my existence. Carbs are the bane of my existence. And of course, my favorite thing. Who doesn't love bread? Right?
mm-hmm, yep.
So yeah.
So yeah,
You have a
my
history.
dad had diabetes. So watching him, do the insulin shots along with my sister, that, was tough. And, it's hard to wean off foods, whatever it is. But it just got to a point where the pain was so bad. I was like, I can't do it. It's not worth it. So I just kind of adjusted my diet. Even though it's not the normal diet, like for instance, today I had a slice of key lime pie for breakfast. Because it was a
One of
celebration.
my
It's my
faves.
parents' anniversary. Yeah.
Tell your parents happy
So
anniversary from all of us.
yeah, yeah. So
Or at least your mom. Your dad knows.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my dad knows. Yeah. So it's a special day and it's a portal day. So I thank everyone for coming today and listening to my journey. I'm trying to think of what else.
Okay, let's see. What I was curious about, did you have psychic abilities in your family, like your mom or your grandparents or anything like that? Or is it really just started with you and your daughter?
No, it's on both sides of the family, but more so, at least that is talked about on my dad's side. So I had an aunt that I was really close to growing up, who was very powerful in her abilities. And she noticed, how you can kind of see it in someone's eyes. She always said, there's a certain look that you're starting to get in your eyes. So she would ask me questions about, astral traveling and things that I just kept to myself because, I'm 17. Nobody, my mom, she's psychic in that way, but not like how I am, where there's flashes and premonitions and things like that. It's just the kind of the mom intuition. Um,
Right.
and my dad, his was more like an intuitive, um, kind of a cop sense of intuition in the dad sense where he can hone in. But I think, since he's on the other side, he always talks about, if I did those exercises and practice like you do, he's like, I could be really good. And I'm like, you are really good. But so his sisters mostly, had the gift and decided, to kind of talk about it within the family because they noticed the other kids. So there's lots of cousins and nieces and nephews that are within the family, but a lot of them now are younger than me. So they all, ask, who's the psychic in the family, or I'm seeing abilities, go to Jay. And so it's really nice to be open about it because it was hush
Yeah.
hush for a while, and like in most families. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy to have it open, within my own household because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Your whole family. I love that. My family was open to it. My dad was into past life regression and did past life regression hypnosis. Not on any of us. And I think it was, well, I must have been really young. But he always had books about psychic things and what was published in those days and things like aliens, anything to do with anything like that. My dad had whatever was available, whatever you could get. He was a pilot for American Airlines. He was a flight instructor for American Airlines, and he saw many UFOs, but of course couldn't say anything. And as kids, we were always nagging him about it. Tell us more, tell us more. But he was kind of a storyteller
Yeah.
too, like to keep us in the guessing all the time
Hmm.
as well. But none of us were psychic.
Yeah.
None.
My mom always said I was special, but I didn't know what that meant. And I still don't talk about it to family. My
That's
older
true.
brother knows that I have some gifts. My younger brother, he just pretty much was always the one, no matter what, he's a little bit of a narcissist, or he used to be. Now he's lost. But anyway,
Oh,
well, he's got dementia, so he's kind of lost. But my older brother, I pointed some things out to him and said, "Oh, yeah, you're right."
but your other brother, he's very psychic. He's done worked for the police and all kinds of
Yeah,
things,
that's the
hasn't
brother. Yeah,
he? Yeah.
yeah. He would have predictive dreams, and he finally learned how to shut those off because he says, "Why do I want to know what's going to happen when it's so
Yeah, it
bad?"
seemed to be murder and mayhem that he dreamed about. That's terrible.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd want it either if I had those
no,
kind of gifts.
no.
But
It was
Heather, you've been in
things that
remote
were not
viewers
good.
you've been a remote viewer since you were a child. Did you talk to people about your remote viewing?
Heavens, no.
Yeah.
I was told I had a good imagination, and I would never talked about any of it. Never.
Yeah. Do you do remote viewing, Jay?
I have, but I wanted, excuse me, I want to look into kind of that whole aspect of it, because right now I'm mostly astral traveling, and that's tiring enough sometimes. I feel like I'm awake all day and then I'm out all night. And there's a lot of people in the chat that, meeting up in these realms is really cool.
It is cool.
And that's been the best part, is being able to play as an adult in this world and go to different worlds and have that interaction, because I started sensing, as I'm working with more people or just getting connected, I'm like, they seem so familiar. We've had to have had a past life before.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the people, there's just that familiar. I just love it. And just getting into the community with people. I liked how it started, because we didn't really talk about everybody's abilities. It was kind of almost a known thing to just not say too much. And then as we're, reading on each other, just getting, hits and stuff, everything was just hitting and clicking in every single, group. And the weeks were going on. And now it's like, this family is so much closer, and I cherish it. Like, I really adore it. So I'm glad to be a part of it and to be on your show, and, to work with you during the week. And, it's just,
the practice sessions mean a lot. They're just incredible. And this whole community has been so supportive of our channel and of each other. And it's truly amazing.
Right.
I love this community.
Yeah.
I can't believe I fought joining YouTube for so long. I was terrified. I didn't want any part of it. But it is 180 degrees from what I imagined. So
right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have any. Do you actually have any guides other than your father that you know their names of or anything like that? Can you tell us? Do you have any ET guides or anything like that?
Well, ETs, I'm excited to get into, because I have this healthy fear, and I'm not really sure why. I'm sure we'll discover it later. Where I know everything exists in that realm, but I'm just not ready for it yet. Just not quite, because I'm still in the realm of working with the guides. But I knew I always had guides. I just didn't know their names per se, but I could feel each one has a certain energy signature.
Yeah.
And so it was Kate and Val's Angel Show that really changed my life. I was in the chat, and it was something, I think I just asked a simple question about what they got. And Kate got a protector type of guide. And I think we've had several lives together, but he's like a warrior, like kind of like a Incan warrior type of guide who has scars all over. And he is who I call my protector. And he gets in front of the confrontation and the people within my family, I guess you could say, that I don't get along with, or that may, have ill will towards me. He's always in front. And I've always felt that, but I didn't really know what that energy was until Kate told me. And now we are extremely close in that way, that I can feel the difference between the guides. Mm-hmm. And then Val picked up on a stork, and her name is Beatrice. And she's been with me for a while, but she's like the mothering type that I need. Because my mom, she's older now, and I don't really, as the oldest of 3 girls, I don't really go to her as much as I used to. But sometimes, you just need that hug or that pat on the head, or just, that cuddle time with your mom. And I stopped doing that, really, because one, I've got my daughter, and it was just something that I thought I grew out of, but I didn't realize I really needed it. And that's who Beatrice is. When I feel her, she will put this warm, it feels like you're underwater but can breathe, and you have like a velvet blanket covering you or wrapping around
How
you.
lovely.
And she puts that, yeah, so she puts that warmness in my ear, and it like cups to my ear. And I start to do this when she tries to tell me I need to get some sleep, or I'm doing too much and I need to rest, um, or my blood pressure is too high. She's really good at helping me with a lot of my health problems. Um, and then I have I have a dragonfly named Timur, and he's really fast. He goes in and out of my body when I'm meditating, and lights things up and does healing to where I can feel like a stinging or a moving sensation. And he's been really cool to work with. And another one named Bobby Blue. He was actually a blues singer who passed away in 2015. And I was wondering how I could have a guide like that, especially when we were alive at the same like times. But what was crazy was I started getting these intuitive hits and was speaking to him, on the other side as a medium. And when I was having some of my like female issues with, I had cysts and stuff on my ovaries. This was the time that I, had to have surgery, and I was going through a lot of stuff. And it turns out that he had passed away of a stomach issue that was very similar, but we've got some ties within our own family that actually knew his family. And because people wonder, like, how do famous people, become your guides? I don't really know the answer. I just know that I have like 3 or 4 of them. Jimi Hendrix is one, and Bob
Because they're
Marley's
part of
one.
your soul family. That's how. It's because they're part of your soul
Yeah,
family. They can be anywhere in
yeah,
the world and be doing anything in the world. But if they're a part of your soul
exactly.
family, that's what it is.
And I don't see them as celebrities or famous people. Like I don't like when I first met, Jimi Hendrix, and he came in my room, and I didn't listen to his music. I didn't really know too much about him, but he kept playing the Watchtower, and he would play songs in my dreams that I would look up that didn't exist here, like in this realm. And that's how we got started in astral traveling and doing things in that way. Um, but it's just been really interesting to, develop my gifts, because they're getting more and more powerful to where now I'm getting psychic hits that I don't necessarily, ask for. So I'm trying to have my guides really, push those back, because some of them are scary, some of them I'm not ready for, and some of them, are just overwhelming, you know. So that's just, a handful of guides, but I have lots more.
Wow. That's really fascinating to know that many of them.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
So
I don't think.
We're
What
checking.
else?
does anyone else have that?
So,
And we also have, I was going to say, I've noticed that some of the people within the community, we have the same guides as far as working in the groups together. I've noticed there'll be, similar guides that will surround and protect us. And I thought that was really cool, because,
that
I'm
is very
still
cool.
figuring out, how this all works, but everything's connected. It's fascinating. I love it.
Everything is connected, and it's amazing that how many connections within this group, our practice groups and stuff. And like you say, the certain guides come in just automatically are there. And I know one of our groups, brother likes to be there all the time. And many of us have picked up on the brother and his sunny disposition. And it's
Yeah.
been really interesting. I didn't know that kind of thing would happen,
Yeah.
but he seems to come in quite frequently.
Yeah, me neither. And the more the merrier, because I think it's great that we're working. I think that everybody should. I still have tried to figure out how some people function without working with other beings,
Mhm.
It boggles my mind sometimes, you know.
I find it so
So
much fun,
getting
and
it out there is good.
everybody seems to be getting stronger, and their each gifts are changing and growing and
And the veil's
morphing
getting
from.
thinner, so it's easier to get in contact.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's definitely
Yep.
thinning. I think that's why we are having so much fun, and all of us are learning so much more, and our gifts are expanding in such incredible ways. I really
Yeah.
don't even think about it anymore. Whatever comes to my mind, I realize it's not me. It's
Yeah.
my guides.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I just, my day is whatever I'm doing, it's because I've got that urge or whatever telling me to go do that, whatever it may be.
Exactly.
And sometimes I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I don't think so. And they're like, mm-hmm. As you well know, if they want you to do it,
Yeah.
they're going to
Yep.
push until you do it.
Right. That's true. And
Right. It takes 3 times for
Me
them
too.
to
3
tell
times.
me before I really listen. Yeah.
Me
3
too.
times. Yeah.
That's my magic number. Isn't that right, Heather?
I was gonna. I can't remember now. Oh, I was gonna say the trick is to learn to listen,
Yes.
Mhm.
because a lot of people
Yeah.
don't learn how to listen, so they get the messages, but they don't get the message.
But they don't they don't get it. You're right. Because I didn't used to listen either. I just thought it was
Yeah.
my monkey mind or
It's
my,
all learning to listen.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
discernment between
Yep.
your mind and your heart, your monkey mind
Right.
talking in your heart.
Yeah.
And the way that I can discern that is the monkey mind is judgmental.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not good enough. You're making that up, blah, 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 blah. Whereas when
Mhm.
it's from your heart, it's all positive and loving and
You
instructional.
are good enough.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you just remember that, it makes it a lot easier to pay attention to your heart because it'll never be
Yeah.
judgmental.
I would say when it comes to discerning and listening to, my guides and to spirit, one of the tricky parts is when I don't get that good feeling about something. And I have to sit, my family down and be like, I know you really want to go, Christmas, like for instance, last year, Christmas shopping, but I'm getting a sense we should not go to this mall. We should not, as much as, and in that way, my daughter and my husband will be like, oh, we get it. It sucks. We get it. What do we do next? So then it's about, okay, well, if we shouldn't go now, when? Or maybe another time. But there's always been that near miss where that's also a wink to be like, continue listening to it as much as sometimes I'm that party pooper that's like, we shouldn't go. It's always come through. So that I'm grateful for.
Amen. That's very handy to have. Very handy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you guys in the chat have any questions, please, please, please put it in all caps and emojis. And I'm sure Jay is open to any questions if you'd like to, or any of us are really. Any questions you want, please put them in caps. We'd be
And
happy.
we might want to think about her portal information.
Oh, did you have information on the portal
Well,
today?
she had a meditation and things. 99.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's the manifestation for the portal.
Mhm.
All of a sudden my chat is like acting funny. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Ethnicity, honey, we're not actually doing readings on people. We're not. Hey, Rod, welcome. Hey, Morella. Anybody else I didn't see?
Hi.
Oh, Kate would like to share how you're teaching your daughter.
Well, my goodness. Yeah. Well, I started teaching her. Well, she really teaches me more sometimes, but um, I started. It was when she was little. She had four guides that were always around her all the time, and they were Lisa, Roger, Dika, and Uncle. And Uncle is actually my brother that passed away 2 weeks before he was supposed to be born. He had the cord wrapped around his neck,
Oh,
and I didn't put two and two together because she would always say Uncle, but she would never say, Jordan, which was his name. And so these four were always with her all the way up until about first grade. And it was they ate, they slept together, they, plates and food and everything has to have. And so when it came to school, it was like, I want to bring Lisa to school with me. And Lisa was like her buddy. And she was able to describe what they looked like. And I was able to look them up online where we lived. There were some ley lines that crossed where her bedroom was. And it was like a train station for spirits that were coming in and out. And they just
wow.
sometimes stayed. So two of them stayed with us and became kind of her guides. And she got meningitis when she was 7 and she almost died. And so they stayed all through that and through school. And she was in the hospital for a really long time. And she recovered. And once first grade started happening, I said, "Well, we'll have Lisa and all of them stay home, and then you go to school, and then when you come home, you can hang out with them." Because the teachers, we didn't want to have that interaction where the teachers were either saying she was crazy or that we were crazy,
Oh, you've
and we
already been
needed
through
to
that.
have her taken away.
You'd already been
Hmm.
through it. You knew what was
And
going to happen.
yeah, so she didn't fight it really, and it wasn't so much like it's a secret, but I just would explain to her, well, you want to go to school and you want to learn. I understand if you want to play, it's a recess thing, but we'll just keep them separate. And she didn't fight it at all. She was fine with it. And then as she grew older, it was like things that happened to us um, as a family or together, or she would have dreams, or she, I would talk to her about spirits or the things that she would see. Um, Totally normal, as though I'm talking to her about a neighbor. So she was seeing a
Right.
lot of my husband's relatives and talking to them, and that was sweet because I have that on tape. I will never, I will never forget that. But she's jumping on the
Oh,
bed and she's, pointing up, and she barely can talk, but she's explaining everything the way I remember explaining it. So fast forward, in high school, she's still kind of suppressing it a little bit. It's not something, unless her friends kind of want to talk about it. But I've noticed that a lot of her friends are in the same spiritual group. Like, I feel like they've had other lives together. So they'll come to me for readings or advice, or, how do I talk to my parents about this? And I don't know, I want to, get into crystals, because a lot of them have that struggle with religion and
yeah.
spirituality, and having their parents understand what that means. And I always wanted Sienna to at least, that's my daughter's name, to at least let her friends know I want to talk to their parents. I don't want them thinking that some weird lady's giving them voodoo advice, and be able to let them know what I'm about, so they have that trust to where if they don't know and their own child has abilities, that I can help them or work with them. And that's something I've always wanted to do, was try to help families that have kids that have abilities and parents that really don't know how to handle it or what to do. So
That's a
um,
beautiful thing to do.
when it comes to gifts,
Yeah.
That is.
it's
I wonder if you could start an
only.
agency or something. I mean, that when you think about it, really, how many of our little star seeds have these gifts? I know my granddaughters do, and yet they were raised where
Mhm,
they just think it's all crazy stuff. They don't really believe in what they're hearing. They've been told
mhm.
it's their imagination. So I mean, truthfully, it
Yeah,
would be a wonderful
that's what I
thing to
want to
be
do.
able to
I
have
want
an
to
agent.
pursue that in some way. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
That would be so
So
helpful for these young star seeds.
Yeah.
Right,
It's too bad you can't
and
start
just
some
to
kind of a
make it
club.
a normal thing.
Yeah. What, Heather?
And that's
It's too bad you can't start some kind of a club, not Girl Scouts, but something that they can meet with each other and support each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a wonderful thing. Wow.
yeah.
Brilliant.
So
Even
I
for
know it'll happen like in the future. I can feel it, I can sense it, but I just don't know when. But that's something that I've always felt strongly about, is marrying those two together. That's spiritual with this new age, because we've got a lot of people like yourselves that have this knowledge, who's got these generations underneath them that I think can
Well,
benefit
I got
from
I got
energy.
the hit. You're going
So
to be doing it. You're going to
anyone
be
in the
doing it.
chat have
I don't know how
ideas?
you're going to do it, but you're going to be doing it because
Yeah.
it's what you're here to do. It's one
You're
of the
you're
things
just
you're here to
beginning,
do.
and you're going to get
Yeah.
you've got a ways to go, and it's all good.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
beginning.
So
Yeah.
did you say you had
So
something on the
just go
99
along for
portal
the
to
ride.
share with us?
Yeah.
Jay, did you say you had something about the 99
Well,
portal to share with us?
yeah. Let me I put something on my channel this morning, and then I let me find it. Yeah. One marking yesterday. Why is my phone so slow?
While you're looking that up, you
Um,
want me to put this
there
one
was a
up that I
couple. Well,
brought in?
basically, it's manifesting. Different ways. One, to look at what. Yes, please, because I want to say it's very similar.
Okay.
Where did it go?
So we got the numerology of 99,
Technology.
where it represents endings and resolutions, and it's the number for personal power, and it represents spiritual awakening and rebirth. The number 9 is the number of high potential.
Right.
And then we have 3 things to focus on 99, and that's releasing any negativity, negative habits, personal traits, limiting beliefs, etc. Expressing gratitude. It's so important to express gratitude and focus on positive changes and successes. And then we need to set our intentions and get crystal clear on what we want to attract into our lives. And then there's a little manifestation ritual. Cleanse your meditation area with herbs or incense. Play soft spiritual music as you desire. Settle into a comfortable position and center yourself with 3 slow, deep breaths. Take a piece of paper and a pen to write 3 things that you're letting go of and leaving in the past. Then write 3 things that you're grateful for in the present. Then 3 things that you welcome into your life in the future. So that's a total of 9 items and helps harness the energy of the number 9. So take your first piece of paper and burn in the candle flame or wherever you want safely, stating what you're releasing with love and appreciation. Then take your second piece of paper and burn it, stating what you're grateful for with love and appreciation. And then take your third piece of paper and burn it, stating what you're welcoming into your life with love and appreciation. And then thank the universe for manifesting your wishes, and do that times 3. So that was just a little something I grabbed, put together to.
No, it's I'm looking at it, and it's exactly, this is pretty much the exact same thing I was doing and looking at. I've got my piece of paper to
Fantastic.
do after the show. Yeah. But I think these type of days, they do feel a little bit different. They do help move that energy and that intent. So I try to, at least, like today started out and it still continues. I can feel it to be really great. I'm not nervous. I'm not anxious. something's changing. I can feel it. I haven't looked at the news or anything, and that's on purpose so I can stay in a good, gratitude zone. But
Absolutely. Stay away
yeah,
from the news.
so doing those three things do add up to 9. But yeah, everything within. Yes, I don't have a TV in my room. Nope.
I have TVs in every room,
But as
and
far as the
I never turn them on. I have them everywhere.
and then releasing the negative that you don't want. Me neither. They're just big. Yeah, they're useless. I kind of don't really like the energy that they give off anyways, because it gives me a rash. The EMF does. So that's one reason I started getting really sensitive to the electronics once everything was about technology. So I'm better now, but
in my room or
yeah. So I have like crystals everywhere that will kind of keep it off.
Yeah, I have it too. I can't stand the EMF.
Yeah.
I
have
that.
salt lamps.
That's beautiful.
Did you see
Me too. I have one there, and one there, and one there, and one there. So I have like every corner of my room
protected.
God.
I have obsidian in all 4 corners of my house.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. I just have a shungite. Well, let me turn it. I have a little shungite. Yep.
That's what I was showing my shungite.
Pyramid.
It's not a pyramid. It's actually a Merkaba.
But I love working with crystals. Oh my God. Like I'll get a pull if I'm driving the car. I love it. Right.
Yeah,
I'll be driving my car and all of a sudden my daughter will go, "Mom, you're not going the right way." Yeah, and I'm like, I'm being pulled to here, and I'll go and I won't even know where the spot is. I just go. And I do the same thing down in Seattle at Pike Place Market. I don't know where the shops are, but I'll just go to where the energy pulls me. And I end up in there and have found the best crystals ever. But it's amazing in that way, the way crystals at least affect me and my family and my friends. Yeah. So
I love crystals.
Let's see what's going on in the chat. How is everyone's day so far with the portal? Are we doing any major manifestations?
Well, I'm going to be writing down what I want to manifest and then burning them on the lanai.
Yeah, it can be a habit, but they all are different.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all different.
Right.
Wow. What happened, White Dragon? He says his favorite Lemurian seed crystal shattered into 3 pieces. Whoa. Somebody was after you, huh? And it got it instead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've had that happen. Yep.
Hypnicity said she had pyramids in all 4 corners of her bedroom.
So did White Dragon.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got pyramids in the corners.
Oh, maybe that's who it was.
And,
that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'd much rather, I can tell when, my stones or my jewelry starts to get full of energy because it'll break or fall off or shatter, or I've had, rings, hematite rings just explode off my finger when I forget to clean them or I'm angry and I'm talking. Yeah, and I'll just be sitting there and it'll just shatter. So I'm careful. I'm more careful now, but that was always the weird look that I would get from people. Why is your jewelry exploding?
Yeah, you got to be careful like that. One time, my husband was in the hospital, and Heather and I had just come home. We grabbed some dinner and sat down to watch some TV and have some dinner. And my husband called and was
Upset.
screaming about he was upset about the quality of nursing care he was receiving. We'll just put it like that. He
Yeah.
was patient from hell, I guarantee. He was every doctor's nurse's nightmare. And I stayed at the hospital with him most of the time, but we had come home that night and all of a sudden the TV went off and it never
During
worked
his
again.
phone call.
During his phone call, while he's yelling and carrying on, the TV went off. So when we hung up and tried to turn the TV back on, it never worked again. And it was like brand new. It was like 3-4 months old. He just wiped it with his energy.
Yeah.
But he could also make his boat go when
Yep.
it shouldn't go, and he could start our dishwasher that had a short in it. I couldn't start it, no matter how many times I punched
But
that
he would
button, I
touch it
couldn't
and it would
start it.
swell up.
But as soon as he touched it, it would turn on. It was amazing.
Wow.
So
That's
energy,
amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
When he took his boat in, the
Real,
guy
and it's powerful.
that he took his boat engine to said, "You were not driving this boat yesterday because the spark plug is gone. There's nothing there." Well, Heather was in the boat the day before,
We were out all day on the boat.
all day long on the boat.
Mhm. He did some fiddling in the back
So
because
cool.
it didn't want to start at the beginning. And it ran the rest of the day just fine.
And the guy at the boat place was
Oh
like,
my
Says you couldn't
"No
have.
way."
Yes, we did.
Synchronicity says she
Nice.
wears moldavite, Herkimer diamond, and
Oh, that's
tektite.
powerful.
If it's not on me, it's nearby.
Yeah,
I
those are
feel
powerful.
protected with it.
Yeah, and White Dragon was saying that that's what protective crystals do. They explode.
They explode when they get hit with the
Yeah.
energy or get too much.
Yeah.
I've never had one explode.
Me
I don't know.
neither, but I
Had a
did
lot
have
of
a smoky quartz that turned absolutely clear.
That's true. I remember your smoky quartz that turned clear. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ah, I love it.
I would just wear it and it was gorgeous because it was absolutely clear.
For some reason,
Yeah,
I don't wear crystals.
that's one of my favorite things.
I don't
To
wear them.
watch
I have
the
them on my
stones
bed. I
change.
have them where I work. I have them all around the house, but I don't. And I very rarely wear them. I don't know why. Strange.
Well, we can change that. I can send you some stuff. Get you wearing them.
Did you get your board? Did you get it?
No, not yet. My daughter wanted me to wait because she wanted to order something in a package as well, and she was at work. So tonight we're gonna order everything.
Well,
But
you saw it. It looks like it's
she knew-
beautiful.
gorgeous. Yeah, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Yeah, I'm excited.
We're talking about a board for making necklaces for using beads. And she does a lot of bead work.
Yeah.
And we saw this one. It was what, $75 on Facebook? It was
Yeah, it was
$75,
like a bamboo.
$25
It was-
on Amazon. It has the circle for the necklaces, I think 2 different ones, and then 3 on either side for bracelets.
for the bracelets, yeah. So you can do
Different
multiple projects because I just have one that has like 2 U's and one that goes across the top for the bracelet, and that's once you have it laid out, you're kind of stuck if you have you haven't done it fully. So I have
Mhm.
other places that I put it or little Tupperwares that I try to keep it in, but yeah, once I start to go down that rabbit hole, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many things. So I'm trying to stay
And it
on
all
that
has
budget, but at the
measurements on
same
it too,
time,
so you know. Everything has little measurements on it. So I think it's in inches as well as centimeters or millimeters. I can't remember.
yeah.
It's not in this room, so I can't look at it.
Definitely.
Oh my God, they're so fun. They're so fun. So it is 4:00. Where are you going to be next?
Well, we are. Oh, Ron from Unconditional Love Tarot is going to be on You've Got This with Kate and I on September 18th, and
18th.
that's the 18th because Kate's kind of taking some vacation time, and I'm trying to get some stuff up and moving. So we're still going to continue the series in chapters within, you know, everybody's lives, and there's more to tell. So more to come
And
for
whose
everyone.
channel?
And I'm,
Whose
huh?
channel? Whose channel will it be on?
Oh, it it'll be it'll be on Kate's. It'll be on Kate's.
Okay.
So until I haven't set things up yet to stream on mine yet, but it's coming. So it'll be on Kate's, and we usually, you know, put out the announcements and then I'll post it on mine. So Ron's our
Right.
next guest, and we're
So
excited.
Kate, put your
So
channel, please, in the chat. And that's with Ron as
yeah.
well. And
So
he's here. I saw him pop in. So hi,
yeah.
Ron.
Well, he
Thanks for
was
being
here, so
here.
yeah,
Hi
his
Ron.
channel out too.
Okay, and we're going to do a second show on ley lines. We're going to do that show on Tuesday, and that's 3:00 Eastern, and on Tuesday. And I'm not sure who Saturday's guest is going to be. I haven't asked
Play it
anyone
by
yet.
ear.
So.
We'll get there.
I'm just starting to schedule again, so I'll get there. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here today. We appreciate you being here and
Thank
taking
you.
part and meeting our lovely Jade. And we hope you'll check out her channel and subscribe to it because it'll be worth it. And are you doing private reading?
Yes. So yeah, you can email me at Majesstic Oracle. And I also it doesn't. I mean, I know you put in the what?
Description.
Oh, my phone. Yeah, in the description, you put. I had another email as well. But I'm going to actually link on my channel, which I didn't get to this morning, but all of my information as far as how you can get a hold of me and any
Right.
social media stuff, and all of that. So
Did I put
you
something
can
wrong
find me
on
there.
there?
But yeah, I'm available. No, you just had put the normal email that we do, but I was trying to keep some of, like, if I'm doing readings, because there's, you know, emails can get piled up. So I was trying to, when it came to readings, then I would be able to separate them from, yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it's still the same people, so that's why I don't mind. So that's why I thought I'll put everything on my channel, in case it confuses anybody. So, like I said, I'm still developing, so work with me, everyone.
We all are
Thank
still
you.
developing, and you know, this community is so good at helping us get our start. So yeah, please go and subscribe to Jay's channel and get a reading, because you know what? I'm going to as soon as she gets an email up there.
And then be sure that you send out unconditional love throughout the world, inside the world as well as outside the world.
Yeah, go
Every-
out, spread your light, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you next time. Sending you lots of love and light, each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
bye-bye.
Bye.